Okay, so I'm back. Yes, I would like to thank you once again to the boys who made the homework, but I cannot forget also to say thank you to Malak Hazem from 3A. Malak Hazem also did the homework, so thank you, Malak, okay? Thank you, Malak. Now we're going to read the story Two Bad Ants. As you can see, the story from the title, it will be the story about ants that are not good, they are bad. When someone is bad, it means he usually breaks the rules. And that will be the story about. It will be about two ants who break the rules. Before we start, you should know what is the animal fantasy. Animal fantasy, it's a story with animal characters where the animal characters behave like humans. So, animal fantasy, it's a made up story, a story that cannot happen in real life because fantasy, it's a story that cannot happen. It's not real. Like animals are talking, animals are acting like people, they are doing things like people, and that is a fantasy. But when you add word animal fantasy, that means the characters in the story will be only the animals. The main characters will be animals. So, animal fantasy, it's a story with animal characters that behave or act like people, like humans. Let's get started. Fingers in the book, please, everyone. The news traveled swiftly through the tunnels of the ant world. A scout had returned with a remarkable discovery, a beautiful sparkling crystal. When the scout presented the crystal to the ant queen, she took a small bite, then quickly ate the entire thing. She deemed it the most delicious food she had ever tasted. Nothing could make her happier than to have more, much more. The ants understood. They were eager to gather more crystals because the queen was the mother of them all. Her happiness made the whole ant nest a happy place. Okay, now let's go paragraph by paragraph one more time. The news traveled swiftly through the tunnels of the ant world. Some news, it's something new that you find out, traveled swiftly, quickly through the tunnels of the ant world. You know the ants, they live underground or they live in the ant hill, and they have many tunnels, right, in their homes. So the news traveled from one ant to another throughout the whole tunnels, in the tunnels of the ant world. A scout a scout had returned with a remarkable discovery. Boys, girls, a scout in uh, about people. When we talk about people, a scout is a person who goes to a place and goes to search a place for the first time. Scout is someone who visits a place or explores the place for the first time, and then he returns back and tell other people what he found. And it is similar with the ants. A scout, an ant scout, is sent out. They are sending out from the ant home. They sending out scouts into different directions, into different places to search for food. And when the scout finds the food, he will return back home and he will take more friends, more ants with him to bring the food. So that's what the scout means. A scout had returned with a remarkable discovery. Remarkable, we know what means remarkable from spelling, amazing discovery. And discovery, it's something that you found. So a scout, the ant that goes out to search for food, had returned with a remarkable, amazing discovery. A beautiful, sparkling crystal. You can see on this picture that he's bringing, this is the scout, bringing the crystal to the ant nest. When the scout presented the crystal to the ant queen, she took a small bite, then quickly ate the entire thing. The ant queen is the most important ant in the ant hall. It's the one that rules them. It's the one that takes care of them. She is like mother of them. So when the scout returns home with something new, he needs to present it to the queen. Queen ant is also ant queen is a little bit different from the other ants because the ant queen is much bigger, and the ant queen has wings. So that's an ant queen eating the crystal. She took a small bite and then she quickly ate the whole thing, the entire thing. She deemed it the most delicious food she had ever tasted. So when the ant queen ate the crystal, she said, "Wow, that's the most amazing food I have ever tasted." Nothing could make her happier than to have more, much more. The ants understood. They were eager to gather more crystals because the queen was the mother of them all. Her happiness made the whole ant nest a happy place. So, when the ant queen tasted the crystal and she thought of it as the most delicious food in the entire world, and she said that she could not be happier than if she would have more and much more of these kind of crystals. The ants understood. They were eager. They wanted to do quickly go and get some more. They were eager to go and gather more crystals. Why? Because the queen was the mother of them all, and her happiness was the most important thing. Because when Ant Queen was happy in the nest, then everyone was happy. The whole place was a happy place. So one more time, Scout returned with the discovery a smart, sparkling crystal. He gave it to the ant queen to taste it, and when she took a bite, she ate the entire thing. She loved it. She was really happy, and if she had more of these crystals, she would be much, much happier. The ants understood because they wanted to make the ant queen happy. So they decided to go and get some more. It was late in the day when they departed, when they left. Long shadows stretched over the entrance to the ant kingdom. One by one, the insects climbed out following the scout, who had made it clear. There were many crystals where the first had been found, but the journey was long and dangerous. So you can see on this picture, late in the day, they departed, they left the ant hole. And you can see that it was about the evening because the shadows were stretching across the field. And one by one, the insects climbed out following the scout. This is the scout. He made it clear that there are many more crystals where he found it, but the journey was long and very dangerous. They marched into the woods that surrounded their underground home. Dusk turned to twilight, twilight to night. The path they followed twisted and turned, every bend leading them deeper into the dark forest. So look at the picture. They marched. March means walking in the line like a soldiers. They marched into the woods. Just as you can see, this is not the woods because the woods are made of trees, right? The forest is made of trees. There are lots of trees in the forest, but this is not the forest. This is the grass. But because the ants are so tiny, for them the grass is like the forest. So please remember, the grass it's like the forest to the ants. So they marched into the woods that surrounded their underground home. Dusk turned to twilight, and twilight turned to night. What means dusk? You know when you know the sunset, sorry, sundown, when the sun goes down. Yeah, when the sun goes down, that is called dusk. Because the sun is going down, it's getting darker, right? It's getting darker. And then when the sun is down, when you almost disappear behind the horizon, the sun is going down, 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 down. This is still dusk. But when the sun is gone and it is still light, we call that twilight. Twilight, when the sun is gone. So dusk is when the sun goes down, and twilight is when the sun disappears but there is still light. And that twilight later on changes into the dark completely. That will be the night. So they marched into the woods, which is the grassy field, in the evening. In the evening when the sun was going down, and then it turned into the night. The path they followed twisted and turned, every bend leading them deeper into the dark forest. So the path, the road they were following was twisting and turning and leading them into the deep forest. More than once, the line of ants stopped and anxiously listened for the sounds of hungry spiders. But all they heard was the call of crickets echoing through the woods like distant thunder. Dew formed on the leaves above. Without warning, huge cold drops fell on the marching ants. A firefly passed overhead that, for an instant, lit up the woods with a blinding flash of blue-green light. Okay, one more time through the explanation. More than once, the line of ants stopped and anxiously listened for the sounds of hungry spiders. Why they were listening for the sounds of hungry spiders? Because the spiders can eat them, right? But all they heard was the call of crickets echoing through the woods like distant thunder. Cricket, it's like a grasshopper. When they, when they moving their legs, when they scratching their legs, they making the kind of a sound, cricket sound, that for the ants sounds like a thunder. Now dew formed on the leaves above. On the leaves, the drops of water forms because it's from the evaporation. The drops of water they form on the leaves. So that is called dew, the drops of water. Without warning, huge cold drops fell on the marching ants. So sometimes when the dew is too heavy, the leaf bends and the drop of water falls down on the ground, and it falls down on the marching ants. And a firefly passed overhead that for an instant lit up the woods with a blinding flash of blue-green light. You know what is a firefly? A fly that has a light. It has a belly. In the belly, it has a light. So when it flew overhead, the woods, the grassy field just went light. There was a light in there, blue and green light. Okay, next. When the ants came out of the tunnel, they found themselves in a strange world. Smells. There is a page missing. Yeah. Okay, there is a page missing, so I have to finish in the previous page here and add the missing page and then continue. So let me finish here on this page and I will add the missing page, the one that they will climb up the wall to the house. So we will finish for now in here, okay everyone? Stop here.